Welcome, Flip Clock fans. I've got a speed read, Seth Thomas speed read model 796 in Flip Clock Fan Studios today. And it's kind of interesting to me. It's why I bought it, was because it was different. I've never seen one of these before. There may be a reason for that, and we'll talk about that coming up. So there we got it. We've got a black and chrome clock. I really wanted it because it's battery operated. Not to mention the looks. When I looked at it, it reminded me of like a chromed out 57 Chevy. And since I can't afford one of those, we'll have to get this Seth Thomas. We'll take a little look here. Directions and guarantee. Battery speed read. 1.5D battery. Tells you how to put the battery in, how to set the time, and how to regulate the time. I'll show you a little bit about that in a second. The Seth Thomases, they called their flip clock speed read. It's like Sony called their clocks defect. Yeah, we're going to talk about defect. Sony called their clocks digimatics. So it tells you how to get this clock fixed, and I have a feeling this clock was sent back in. I have no way of proving that, but I'm just guessing. And when you see what we get into here, you'll find out why. So the clock originally was for $25. When I bought this clock, I thought, I'm not going to open this clock up. It just looks too good. I don't want to mess it up. But as you know, that's what we do here at Flip Clock Fans. Plus, it came with a mess up. Alright, this battery didn't actually come with the clock. That's a modern battery. So there we see catalog number 796, speed read 24 hour. General Time Corporation, made in Japan. You see here, a lot of these made in Japan clocks will have numbers on the cases. Some people erroneously think that's the model number. That's probably the Japanese part number. We've got 2 screws in the back, 4 screws for the mechanism, and a screw to hold the front chrome in. Nice looking clock. Almost hate to take it apart, but it doesn't work. I got it going, and it jams up when it runs. Now, for some reason, we have 2 different types of screws in this clock. We've got the flathead screws in the back and the Phillips head for the clock mechanism. So there's a simple matter of undoing these screws. And we'll undo the mechanism screws. Now the screws are different in the mechanism. The back screws towards the battery compartment are smaller. And you'll see here that the front screws are longer. And the case starts to open up like a clamshell, but not too long. We figure out that we're being restricted here by the screw here. Now, this is also a flathead screw, very small. I hate working around this chrome because if I slip with that screwdriver, it's going to scratch that chrome, and the chrome looks great. It's picking up a lot of fingerprints though, so I'll have to wipe that down. The front comes off really easily, almost falls off once you get those 2 screws out. This is a metal piece. And real glass. And like I said, you're getting fingerprints all over that chrome. Alright, that lifts right off, and you can see they have some brass inserts into the plastic to hold the case down. Nothing else to report. Now look at this. Look at this mechanism here. That is unlike anything I've seen. But this is also why this clock ticks. So this clock doesn't just make noise of flipping, which is very slight. It actually is a ticking clock. And there you can see the mechanism situation. And what you're looking at is a balance wheel. It's the timekeeping device used in mechanical watches and some clocks. It's analogous to the pendulum in a pendulum clock. It's a weighted wheel that rotates back and forth and is returned to its center position by a spring called the hairspring. The balance wheel and the hairspring together form what's called a harmonic oscillator, which keeps each tick of the clock very constant. That's why it's used as a timekeeper. It's been used since it was invented in the 14th century until tuning fork and quartz movements became available in the 1960s. Pretty interesting, but it's loud. This thing is a ticker. When I get this battery out, check that out. It's still running. The thing is in good shape. The momentum in the spring just keeps that thing a ticking. Now it's not going to tick for any significant amount of time, but it's just pretty cool. It's just curiosity as a timepiece, as much as is for a flip clock to me. Anyway, when I got this thing, it was not working. It was jammed up, and I had to try to figure out what was wrong with it. And if you see here, there's a metal leaf spring here. You can figure out what that is. It was not in that hole. I had to bend it and put it in there. I tried to take the clock apart to get it in there without bending it, but I had to. That's the spring that holds the hour digit back so that it drops properly. Many of you know what I'm talking about, but when you get up close to the 50s, it holds that last leaf back so it drops exactly when it goes 00. That spring was not working. Once we got that put back, it started to do better, but the tying there that holds the digits back wasn't even adjusted correctly. I had to readjust that, which wasn't that hard, but this clock was not put together correctly. I can't see any way someone else would have messed that up. There's the little nub that you take out to adjust the clock if it's not running correctly. So it's just a plug, actually, and you would stick in a screwdriver carefully. It doesn't need that. It's keeping really good time once we got the clock fixed. So we've got the clock back together. I'm just going to show you how to put the battery in. Of course, you've already seen me do it. And just got to carefully push it in. Really a nice looking clock. Nice addition to the Flip Clock Fan Studios, and it's got a little history to it. Well, thanks for taking the time.
When you get the time, come visit us at flipclockfans.com.